Good morning, respected sir. My name is Srijeeta Saha, roll number 82, and today I'm going to present a seminar on course 5, and my topic is British English versus American English. English is a widely spoken language, especially in countries like the United States, British Isles, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. But English is also a language that can be spoken in multiple dialects. Peter Stevens is of the opinion that the variations in the English language can be divided into two main families, namely the American English family and the British English family. Both these families vary in detail, but there are also striking similarities. The American English family denotes English spoken as a native language in countries like the United States and Canada, whereas the British English family denotes English spoken as a native language in countries like the British Isles, Australia, and New Zealand. The English that is spoken in the United States nowadays, which is popularly known as the American English, is actually a derivation and development of the Elizabethan English that was carried forward by the British travelers in the 16th and the 17th century when they traveled to the continent. Gradually, with the passage of time, internal history, need for cultural independence led to the distinction between American English and British English. For a very long period of time, British English exerted a strong influence on American English. However, American English too influenced British English with their vocabularies that led to the rise of Americanness. Now, let us look at some of the vital differences between British English and American English. When the first settlers arrived in the North American continent, they spoke using the rhotic speech where the R sound is more pronounced. Whereas the speakers in UK wanted to distinguish themselves and so they softened the R sound. So for instance, a sentence in American English would sound like I go to the market in a car. So the R in market and car is more enunciated. Whereas the same sentence in British English would sound like I go to the market in a car. So the R sound is completely eliminated. In terms of vocabulary too, there are individual quality. For instance, British trousers versus American pants, British jumper versus American sweater, British flat versus American apartment, and my most favorite, British aubergine versus American eggplant, which by the way is known as brinjal in Indian English. Now, in terms of spelling, American English prefers O before R, whereas British English prefers OU before R. So, a word like honor would be spelled as HONOR in American English and HONOUR in British English. Similarly, American English prefers ER as against British English that writes RE. So a word like center would be spelled as CENTER in American English, and the same word would be spelled as CENTRE in British English. Then a word like enrollment in American English would use a single L, whereas British English will use double L. So words like skillful, willful, traveling, and marvelous are similarly spelled. Not just in terms of vocabulary or spelling, there are striking grammatical differences too. For example, American English uses the more informal verb will, whereas British English predominantly uses the more formal verb shall. Again, the past participle of get in American English is gotten, whereas in British English it is got. And there are multiple such differences. In conclusion, it can be said that although British English served as the main source and background for the emergence and evolution of American English, both these dialects affected one another and contributed to their respective linguistic growth. The differences are not so fundamental so as to affect some massive discrepancy between the two. In fact, on closer observation, one can trace the historical circumstances that led to their respective evolution. Both these dialects are widely used, equally accepted, and entertained by everyone all over the globe. That is all that I have for this seminar. Thank you so much.